In this second episode of the solar kiln build, I have the 2x4s that are 16 foot long. They're a little over 16.5, that came from the maple tree, the maple log. And you can see there's a little bow in it. You can see right here there's two 2x4s on there, and then I see some daylight under it on this end too. They're a little over 4 inches wide, and so what I'm going to do is, anymore for dimensional lumber or any lumber, what I'll do is cut it wider than I want it, and then after it dries, this had been drying for a couple months, just air drying, and then I'm going to take and bring it back to the sawmill, even it up. Of course, if it was just short pieces, I would use the table saw to get it down to 3.5 and get out the curves, the bends, or if it's got wane on it or any imperfection along the edge. Take a slice off, flip both those 2x4s over and 180, and then we'll see what kind of gap is underneath them, and then if we can work it out to where we can get a quite straight, maybe not perfect, but sawmill lumber is never perfect, and to get that work for us in getting a flat, smooth surface to do the framing with. there we have it. And then now I'll go cut those to length right at 16 foot, square them up, cut them off with a skill saw, and then I'll start measuring out the uprights in the framing. And I need about 14 of those in 30-inch sections, and as I put that together, I'll tell you the height in the video. Well, friends, I've got quite the load on this trailer, and actually an uh-oh moment. It fell off its block on the jack. Let's see, broke the weld right there, bent the jack. I'll have to replace that. And but I'm inside of this part of the hay barn working on the solar kiln, trying to stay out of the hot Tennessee weather, and keeping in mind this open air side here where the sun will be beating down sooner or later. I'm going to extend that out 13, 15 feet, somewhere in there, and make a side shed with that. And of course, that's the reason for the big beams. Those will be the posts. I think I'm going to do 2 more and go the full length of the hay barn on a side shed, and that'll give me 40 feet to store stuff and to put the sawmill in. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the solar kiln build. That is the front wall, and have it put together, combination of maple and a couple pine boards in there. The front wall isn't fastened. I just put a couple screws to hold it in place, because I'll start working on the side walls, and they're going to be some angle cuts, 45-degree, to put those in place. So we'll get started on that next, so stand by for news. I did tell you that I was going to update you, and let's see, you needed 2 16-foot boards going 16-inch centers, needed 16 of the 2x4s 29 inches tall, so it should give that wall a height of 32 inches tall and 16 foot long. So we accomplished that. Now let's move on to, I'll write down the cut list, what I need for the sidewalls. I did tell you that I was going to update you, and let's see, you needed 2 16-foot boards going 16-inch centers, needed 16 of the 2x4s 29 inches tall, so it should give that wall a height of 32 inches tall and 16 foot long. So we accomplished that. Now let's move on to, I'll write down the cut list, what I need for the sidewalls. Back at it this morning. Let me get this adjusted right. What I have done, measured the distance between these 2 boards. This is going to be the first upright with a 45-degree angle down, and I just resaw some more 2x4, so I've got a 1.5 by 3.5, and my thought is to lay it diagonally across, and that'll get my angles from the very bottom, which is, this is 32 inches high. So I need this to be 32 inches high with the cross beam, and it'll all make sense when I put it all together. So at this time I'll take a board I cut at 110 inches, lay it from the diagonal cut of the 45 across here to down here, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about with a close-up shot. I put a mark. There's a mark here, and that's the same height as the upright over there. So it's 77 1/4 from outside to outside on this, from right here, and then the same thing down below here. Then we put our board diagonally, and here's where I'm going to mark this board. It's flush with the cut here, so I want to cut right there. Then come over to the other side and mark it here, and this will set flush on top of this. There'll be a 2x4 here as a brace, and it'll be cut short, so this is not a board staying here. But as I take and put, I've already got my marks for my 16-inch spacing, so I have an upright there, and then there will be that short board. We'll brace that upright, and then we'll do another one and keep going. So now I'm going to go cut the diagonals on that 2x4, and then I'll use that to cut the next board for the other end. One of the side walls is finally framed together. What I'm going to do now is stand it up and the center braces, put those on. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional builder. I'm just a farm boy that makes buildings on his property with sawmill lumber. And there's not a level, straight building on the place, and I suspect that this one won't be level and straight and everything else as well. And of course, I learn by doing, so I don't have a carpenter father, or I learn as I go. So I guess if I can do it, you can do it. So what I'm going to do now is stand up the wall, and I need to show you something. When I was taking the measurements, I screwed this 2x4 along here so I could get a good measurement on that angle piece up above. Now there will be additional framing on the outside of this as well as we go through the building process. So let me go through the process of standing this wall up. Just using some deck screws to put it temporarily in place while I try to level as best as I can everything here. Also, this is the first time in owning a framing nail gun. Galvanized, dipped nails, shanked. These are 3 inches. The Banks nailer, nails and all, I probably have $150 into it. Sports fans, there's one of the end walls. We'll get the framing on the other, and like I said, I'm going to put the braces in. I got them started. That second one end is not nailed or anything, and what I want to do is get my little torpedo level and see how straight I can get it, or straight level. Thank you very much. Well, it's hot August day, and I've got the 2 end walls up, and this is going to be all for this episode. And certainly if you got any questions, ask in the comments below. Be more than happy to help. But anyway, thanks for watching, and look forward to episode 3. You all have a great day.